to the D, baby.
313 Detroit love, the Motor City. Detroit love, can't nothing stop me. Detroit love, I love my city. Detroit love.
When you Welcome to another episode, Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, the JLE Experience. We have another amazing guest for you today. We have the Portfolio GP, Life Coach, BU with Bells on Coaching Program, helping you to blast burnout and find your fizz, Holistic Health and Wellbeing, Root Cause Medicine, and the Glitter Practitioner, Dr. Nupi, Arora. Welcome to the show. Amen, right.
Thank you so much. What a gorgeous introduction. I love
I
it.
bring you out here. I'll try.
I love your voice, by the way. And I was like, I love the way you said it, the Glitter Practitioner. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I saw that in the thing to come over the title. Like,
love that.
That sounds awesome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Seriously, I'm absolutely so grateful, overwhelmed. I could cry, glitter tears, but happy tears. Thank you is what I wanted to say first.
Awesome. Well, let's get with it. First question: what led you on this path?
Oh, right. With pleasure, I can tell you. So I am a doctor, a real life doctor, not just a pretend one. And just for clarification, GP stands for General Practitioner, the Glitter Practitioner. And that's family physician, basically. So I am 48 now. I have got 13-year-old twins and I'm married. I've always wanted to practice medicine, to be a doctor. And my parents are Indian. I was born in India, actually. I was one when my parents came to the UK. And my dad's a doctor. He was an ENT consultant and changed to general practice when he came to the UK. Mm-hmm. And, I guess my parents are very broad-minded. Their parents they were also quite disruptive, I should say. They didn't do things by the rule books as such. Okay. Neither my parents didn't and neither theirs. So my parents never said to me, okay, you have to do medicine, because it was very an Asian thing. It's a cultural thing. You're either medicine, dentist, lawyer, this. It was never like that. I just learned from watching my dad and intrigued by stories that he'd tell us. I sort of sat in his surgery, helping with filing and stuff. And I have always been so curious about people, their life, the backstory. And, I remember saying to Mum, I want to be a psychiatrist or something. And she'd be like, no, Betty, choose a different profession where, it's easier. You want to have a family, la-di-da-di-da. And I was like, yeah, but Mummy, I really am fascinated by people. And it's also more in the context of their health problem. What's the backstory? What's going on? What's behind it? I've always been a chatterbox and very curious and nosy. That's how I would describe it. I'm nosy, basically. No, I'm not. I'm curious. And when, it's what we say in professional speak, it's professional curiosity. And it says it all, really. You can look at the person, you can see the surface issue, which is the presenting issue, or you can really see from your heart or with your intuition, with every single skill that we are as healthcare professionals. There's a common ground of what we do and how we do it. So I was always drawn to the profession. And do you know what? I failed my A-levels, not because I was partying at that stage. I was a very studious, straight A student, but I didn't speak up. I didn't sort of express to anybody that I really just didn't understand physics at all. I thought I did, but I didn't. When I opened up the exam, I was like, holy shit, man, I don't get this. And this is in the A level. This is in the actual exam. This is the door to my career for the rest of my life. And I'm like, oh God, I don't think I was then hoping and praying I might have just managed to scrape a B. Yeah, right. I got a big fat friggin' D, which was not going to get me in at all.
Yeah.
I was devastated. And, trying to, my mum was going, oh, there's a place in Leeds or somewhere, I can't remember where now, for dentistry. Why don't, I was older for my year, and mum was very much such an Indian thing. Oh, Nupi Betty, you're going to be very old. You'll be very old, start your career, just do dentistry and dirt. And I'm like, why the hell would I choose a career that I don't want to do? I don't want to look in people's mouths for the rest of my life and career. I'm not interested. No disrespect to dentists out there. You want to do that? Great. I knew I didn't want to. That was the point. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to get in. And actually, in the meantime, found a sort of an A-level student college, which was doing grammar courses for A-levels.
Okay.
And I'd got all 5 places for my, when I'd, when you apply, you go through the system and stuff. So I had 5 offers for medicine. Okay. And one of them was Guy's and St Thomas's in London. And I was like, I'd rather stay in Manchester where I'm from. I'm a bit of a home bird, really. I don't really fancy that. But it was one of the offers. And I remember the interview really, really clearly to this day. I mean, I was 19, 18 even. That's 30 years ago. God. And I remember just really enjoying the interview. It was just very natural. And I remember coming out thinking, oh my God, I think it went well. Yes. Guy's and St Thomas's. So I started this A-level, the grammar course. A month into me starting the grammar course, they contacted us. I think somebody had dropped out of medicine in that year group.
Okay.
And they offered me a space. And with the words of, you really impressed us with your interview. We've had you on a sort of a reserve thing. Okay. You can start now. It's a month into the degree. You come. And I was like, I don't know if I would do anything differently now. No, I wouldn't actually. I actually went, no, I'm not going to do that. I need to finish this degree. I need to know I can do it. And I need to know, because I was actually really enjoying the physics. I actually understood it. I needed to know for myself that I got in. I still was going to get in with merit, with my own merit, because obviously I'd got the grade and it was the D, but they'd obviously liked me. But I was like, no, I need to finish this. And I did. And I went from a D to an A in 3 months, and then had the rest of the year off and had a, really nice summer. I didn't go traveling or anything like that, which is what most people do. I was like, my mum and dad would never have let me actually. Family holidays and stuff, yes. And I just basically worked in our local bakery for the rest of the summer. And I had this pinny on that used to say Maureen. And that was my name. So people would come into this bakery, and I'm brown skin, I'm young, I've got funky hair at the time. And everybody, people come in going, all right, Maureen, can I have a shiny cob, Maureen, and stuff. I'm like, my name is not Maureen, but it's okay. You can call me Maureen. It's fine. So, it didn't put me off, is what I'm trying to say, that little story. And, med school is med school. It really does not prepare you. In my time, that is. I think it's so much different actually now. I teach medical students and I supervise them, tutor them, and same with junior doctors. It has changed so much. But, all through the medical school bit, you're focused, you're doing this, you do some clinical work and experience. You walk on to the wards as a junior doctor, and you are literally, oh my God, this is it now. But that's when I started to really, I just loved every single minute. I really did. And very early on, I knew I wanted to do general practice for the very reason of And I say this to this day, actually, and it's what I'm writing in my book of,
Okay.
there aren't many. In fact, the only professions that are allowed to step in to somebody's life, healthcare, social care, but truly step in with an absolutely, it's like a VIP access. It's like, you're in a club and then there's that golden rope and come on in. You can see everything with trust. It's unconditional trust.
That's
Health
true.
and social care are the only professions. And as a GP, this is how I think anyway. You're in the cornerstone of a community. It's quite a, it's kind of old school way of thinking, I think. It's cradle to grave. You are involved in the family. You are seeing generational stuff going on. You're seeing babies grow up to be young kids, and then they're having families of their own. And it's the continuity of care. Oh my God, I love it, because you have that permission to step in. And in doing so, you really, really, truly can instigate change or help somebody else understand. And my role as a GP, it's not a job to me. It really isn't. I love chatting. I love meeting people. Connection and working from my heart is like, that's what I love doing. So for me, it's almost like, God, this is just great. I get to do this every day. And I don't get me wrong. I worked in a very deprived inner city practice, and huge amounts of complexity, physical health, emotional health, and deprivation, which has its own ball game when it comes to health problems, because you've got all the other layers around it, and then you've got hand-me-down traumas. It's an absolute privilege to be able to sit there. Somebody's come in, and you get to step in and actually change somebody's life. And that, I don't mean this in the sort of evangelical or almost, I'm not trying to be Mother Teresa or anything. No, it's not. It's so much more than that. You've got the skill, you've got the knowledge, you've got the science behind you, you've got the qualities that make deep, pretty good patient contact and bedside manner, which is compassion, empathy, holding space, all of these qualities that as a healthcare professional, you are honing and refining all these years. So to be allowed in and actually see what is this problem in the context of somebody's life, in the background of their beliefs, their upbringing, everything, because that influences massively how people present with their problems. So it gives you added layers almost. This kind of stuff isn't taught. So that's what I mean about the root cause approach. It's understanding. So rather than treating or looking at the surface issue, you are going right under to the root cause of it. And there's a time and a place for this. It's impossible to do this in your 10-minute consultation, which is what we get. Well, 15 minutes is what we had. And I agree, it is impossible. However, you can do it. You actually can do it. You can link things in. And I guess it really is dependent on, as a clinician per se, how in tune you are with your needs, how in tune you are with somebody else's needs, because that's where this is coming from. I learned to value my own needs the hard way through burnout. And you have got an X amount of time, but the surface problem, not sort of delving in, now bearing in mind, I'm actually the lead in safeguarding domestic abuse citywide, as well as in-house, deprivation medicine, trauma-informed care, adverse childhood experiences. These are my specialties. And I was, reflecting back on this, I know why they're my specialties. It's because I can go under, and I am actively looking for the root cause. And that's what those fields
you got passion
desperately needs that. It needs to be aware of maybe what else is going on. And, you know, all of a sudden somebody's presenting headache. It doesn't take long. It's a couple of extra questions, and it's how you pick it up. Bam, you found out so much more. And actually, it's got nothing to do with, you know, paracetamol is just not going to fix the problem, quite frankly. This patient's headache, you obviously do your history, your examination, or the medical model of how we consult patients, finding out that this patient's not sleeping because of the baby waking up, and then the partner's having a go, and da-da-da-da-da. Oh my goodness, a myriad of other things. And it turns out that this is a chronic problem. And I'm using a very loose example here, obviously, but it just opens up the field massively. Okay. And that is where you really get to make a difference. And it sounds cheesy. And, you know, it's like medical school, why do you want to do medicine? I want to make a difference. And it's so much more than that, because actually you can make a difference. You know, you're sat in a clinic and you are allowed to get into somebody's life and they trust you. So opening it up a little bit more, my goodness, you know, when you combine all of that with the science, with the understanding, jeepers creepers, the transformations that I have been privy to and been a privilege to be a part of, bloody hell, I will do that every single time, because that is why this works. It just works. And it's that holistic aspect of looking at all different angles. So it's mind, it's body, and it's spirit. So it's looking at those health needs physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. And somebody might not even realize that mind-body connection is enough. More often than not, when people come in, they feel an energy. They feel it. People have walked into my room, say, when I'm consulting, and they might notice some crystals that I've got there. They might notice sort of an angel painting that's on my wall, or they might notice something. But they feel from here that transfer of energy, or that feeling that, okay, this is a safe space and I'm asking questions because I want to hear the answer. And I'm listening, not just to listen from here, I'm listening to understand. And more than that, to create understanding. And that's where the raising your awareness to your health needs and really understanding, well, what are my physical health needs? What does that even mean? Physical is probably one of the easier ones, but what are my emotional health needs even? And how do I do that? How do I keep myself in balance? That is this aspect of health and understanding, because that's where you open the door for choices and ownership, of course. But if you never knew that, how you of course those beliefs, and you wouldn't change them. Opening the door when you know there's more options here, there's choices I can make. That's where the change, that's the bit that's the important bit, because it's with that little thing. And this is how I show my patients, really. That, for me, that choice to change and transformation, you're changing your whole trajectory. That is what I say is the magic of healing. And when you're working with patients one-to-one, you know, the number of times I've seen somebody walk in and their eyes are just, I can tell from what's underlying pretty much. But obviously you go there, you ask the questions, but I can see it in people's eyes. But when I've shown them how to breathe properly, or I've gone through some of my F's to help and show them these are the little techniques or the skills that you can use. People open their eyes, or they've had the conversation, and I've done nothing. I've not written a prescription. I've not given anything. What I have done is listen from my heart and share and guide, or whatever it is I've done. And the light that I see coming back in somebody's eyes, that's what I mean. The glitter effect, actually. It's I love glittery eye makeup. Of course, I am obsessed with glitter. But actually, the glitter practitioner, what that really is this is what my patients say, is it just feels so sparkly whenever I've spoken to you and all this. And it's that positivity, energy, but it is the light that I see in somebody's eyes. And that to me is so precious that I can't practice any other way, actually, and I won't. I will continue to practice in this type of way or share it actually, and share how to do this because it works. And I love what I do genuinely, and that's my passion.
Oh, yeah, definitely in the comments. Great family friend, Alexandria Rosa RN, the Dr. Spice. Her daughter said hi,
Yes.
Nupi. She linked us up. She's watching.
Oh, thank you, Alexandria.
Now, what is the philosophy of BU with bells on coaching?
Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is good. So, be with bells on is what I said. So I'm, from burnout, and I had to stop. I was basically, it was like I was face down, flat in mud. That's how it felt. I was literally rock bottom. It was crap. It was horrendous. But I will always say it was my blessing, actually, because it made me stop. It gave me this insight for myself, what my own health needs are, what do I need to do to keep me in balance. And it was crap, but I stopped, and I was like the perfect student. I was the perfect patient. I was a perfectionist. I'm not as much anymore. I'm taming it. That's what I'll say. But it just following that sort of pathway of, okay, look, you really can't go on anymore. I was running on empty for a few years, probably.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I guess the only place where I felt that I know what I'm doing was with patients, to be fair. And it took me till one clinic. I remember 3 mums coming in, different issues, but, frazzled, tired, trying to do all different roles, new baby. And I could relate, my twins were 3, I think, at the time, something like that. And I remember sort of saying, really look after yourself. This is how, time out, do this, da, da, da. And I remember a very sort of, just like a thought which came and went like a butterfly almost. Gosh, I really wish somebody like me said this to me, because I might actually listen. And it was there and it had gone. And I didn't stop yet. I just kept pushing through until I couldn't go anymore. So I stopped. I learned, basically. I gave myself the permission to just stop and be advised and be guided. And, it was not easy. I was seeing a psychologist, the therapy, which was amazing. It was schema therapy, which is relatively, I don't think it's, it's quite specialized. I'm not specialized even. It's not your bog standard approach when it comes to psychology, but I might have got that wrong. So, I don't want to cause an upset in the psychology world. But my therapist was amazing. And side by side, I remember this really clearly. A colleague had recommended a book to me, The Celestine Prophecy. And I love reading. And I'd basically forgotten all the things that make me fizz and fill my heart with joy. I wasn't doing anything for myself. So I was not looking after my needs, because I didn't even bloody well know what they were anymore. I didn't know who I was anymore. So I'm reading, I'm getting better. I'm having treatment. I'm having this, and I'm following everything. And I'm reading this book. And it's all about energy, and it's about spirit, and it's about waking up, and it's all about connections. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh my God, oh wow, I get it. It was like
The light went
It
off.
really was like an awakening almost. And at the same time, where we live, there's like a corner shop. Well, it's not a corner shop at all. It's on the high street. And I've always thought it was an organic food shop because that's what it says. And
Okay.
I've never been in. I've lived here like God knows how many years. Never been in. It's an organic food shop. I'll go to the other place. It's easier. And in part of the Celestine prophecy, there's sort of signs, synchronicities happening, and also, elements of angel and something higher, a higher source. And I walked past this place, and this is when I'm better. It's probably 3 or 4 months in now to treatment and therapy. And I'm getting there, and I see this sort of sign that says angel meditation. And I was like, oh, that's like in my book, angel thing.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, I'll go in. Let's have a look.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, that's what, 12 years ago now, I had no clue what your chakras were. I had no clue what meditation really, what it could do for you. I had no idea about what I know now. And I remember having doing the meditation even, and I was blown away. The way I felt afterwards, it was just, oh my God, what the hell just happened there? That was incredible. And I was in that kind of a bliss state for a few hours, basically. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then one thing led to another. And then the person who was doing the group was doing some more teaching on stuff. I went along to it. I'm curious. I'm absorbing, listening, just following. I'm just going with the flow. And she said to me, do you know that you're a light worker? She said. And I was like, I didn't know what one was actually. And I was like, oh, right, really? Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm a GP. I'm a GP here. And this is what I do. And this is how I practice medicine. And she was like, no. It's nothing to do. It's great that you're a doctor, but no, you're a light worker. And I didn't know what it was. I looked it up and I was like, no, I'm not. Really? Yes, I bloody am. And there are lots of light workers out there. And it's understanding what that is and how you can help somebody else. And it's incredible. And so that was part of my journey. And, slowly but surely, so the bee with bells on. So I remember coming to the end and I'm about to start work again. So I recovered from burnout and have practiced ever since. And, with my boundaries in place, knowing what I've known, my learnings, my insights to ownership, approval, validation, you don't need it. It comes from yourself, and how to actually do that. So all these sort of golden nuggets is what I call them. These were my blessings. So burnout was my blessing, because without burnout, I would never have understood this for myself. And that is what I remember saying to the specialist I was working with. And he was like, so, I said, oh, you feeling better? And that kind of thing. It was like the last review. And I was like, oh my God, am I feeling better? Oh my God, I am me again. And I said, sack that. It's a very Manx thing to say, sack that. And I was like, sack that actually. You know what? I'm freaking me, but with freaking bells on. And that's where that expression came from, because I was literally so much more than old me. I was all singing, all dancing, literally bells on me. And that's where this title came from. So when I'm talking to patients, so this is exactly how it happened, that, it was almost like it was a light bulb moment, because I'm thinking, okay, this was crap. Burnout was shit for me, but I'm better and I've understood. And actually, and it was like this sort of thing of course I'm going to share it. And it came, I was talking to a patient and, not feeling great, whatever the issue was. And I'm sort of advising, you need to look exactly what I was asked and told to do, or advised to do. Look after your own needs, basic health needs.
I'll take care of yourself.
Eat, you need to drink, you need to have some exercise, fresh air, that kind of thing. And even touched on hobbies, because my therapist asked me, what are your hobbies? And I looked at him as if he'd gone bonkers. And I was like, hobbies? What do you mean? And I was like, I was really confused. I actually thought it was a trick question. I don't know why. And he was like, it's not a trick question. It's fine. Don't worry. And I was like, well, I enjoy spending time with my family, my husband and my children. And he was like, no. For you, for yourself. I was like,
Yeah.
I meet a friend maybe once every 2 weeks for coffee. And he was paused. And I was like,
Oh,
and that,
gotta do something for yourself.
and that was it. And that was it. And I was like, and he was like, okay, well, you'll find your hobbies and your passions and da da da. I remember walking in right at the end when I'm saying, you know what, I'm me with bells on. And I'd written, I'd been journaling at that time, and I literally had 5 pages. I love my butterflies, and I notice when this is happening, and I'm amazed and in full of joy when I see, and it's true, I love rainbows and like shooting stars, all these tiny little things that just make me so happy. But more than that, I really did find stuff and actively did it for myself. So I'm saying the same thing back to my patients, and I'm saying, so, you have to look after your own needs, and, you need food, fluids, fresh air, and fun. It's very important to do the things you love doing. And then I stopped and I went, holy crap, man, oh my gosh, we should call this my F list. And that's how it began. That
Nice.
in my in the list this is how, and I used to say to patients, I'm not going to accept okay for you to come in the room and feel better. Great. I'm not accepting okay. I want you to come back here going and feeling you're back to being you, but with bells on. And that was almost how I would say this. And it worked. It does, and that's exactly what was happening. So my F list is almost my holistic prescription of whole health. And it encompasses mind, body, and spirit. And the way I share it with patients is that, health and well-being, it's everything. It's you as a whole person. It's not just the presenting problem. That's just what's brought you in here. And I describe it like a seesaw that, they're all combined. It's one. You can't separate it. And if you can't separate it, if one's off kilter, the other is going to follow. So how do we keep it in balance then? Well, you need to understand the elements a little bit and know what to do. So yeah, that's where this all sort of started. So I'm sharing, I guess, everything I learned for myself to use for myself. It's nothing that I'm not doing for myself. And I've incorporated that into my daily practice because, people's health problems, physical, so the symptom, but when you're dealing with chronic pain or you're dealing with chronic health conditions whereby tablets, you take the medication, but underlyingly knowing how to sort of do a few little things, tweak a few little things, tiny little baby steps, you get to almost govern what happens next in terms of your health. You really do. It's not a replacement for anything, but if you combine that understanding with your scientific background and you put it together as a combined and an integrated approach, holy crap, man, that is powerful. It really, really, it really is. I am living proof of that. Exactly. As are the patients or the stories, the transformations that I've been involved with or sort of been privy to. Or, it's amazing. So the Be You with Bells On is exactly that. So it's be you with bells on. And how do we do that? Well, you find your fizz, which is the energy inside. It's the essence of you. And that is all what I do in my F list, and it's how I practice. It's how I get that's my approach when it comes to practicing medicine anyway.
Okay. Shout out to Anthony Reed and Kidney Trails. They're doing great things.
Oh, wow. Yes.
A life coach.
Pardon?
How'd you become a life coach?
Well, it is coaching. It's always been something I've been interested in. And it was something that you know, I've been looking at it for a while, and you know, I'm looking at different courses. I love learning, and that's the other thing. It's you evolve. You know, you're constantly reading, learning. I do anyway, and I'm learning off my patients. It's always a two-way process, and I was thinking, okay, I'm really fascinated by this, and I wonder how we could use this in medicine, or how we could sort of. It's a lot, you know. It's a little bit like health coaching, or spending that time and really discovering and shifting people from a mindset almost of
New
from
turn.
this to this almost. And I'm sort of researching, and you know, the courses are out there and they're like really, really expensive, and can't afford that. It's a lot. And as you know, as chance would have it, you know, I'm involved with a couple of webinars, and not involved, I'm listening to them, and some podcasts, and both run by doctors. And at the time, this was through COVID. This was
Early
we
COVID?
were still in COVID. No, late COVID. It was the second year actually. Yeah, we're all tired, we're all frazzled as well, but and the stuff that was coming through on these webinars, and it was amazing. To this day, I will say it was the Joyful Doctor, who's Caroline Walker, and the Permission to Thrive webinars, which they both run. I swear they were like literally my hanging on threads there. You know, just reminding you why you do what you do and to look after yourself. And it was just brilliant. It came at the right time as well. And it was through them. It was something that I think it was like it was just a one of those email newsletter things, but because it said coaching for doctors, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, I've been thinking about this, and the other courses are really, really expensive. And because it had come from a source where I was obviously, you know, I trusted, in the sense I'd already been listening, and I felt I could trust what they were saying and stuff. And it was so much, it was so less expensive than the other ones I'd seen. And I thought, you know what, I can stretch to that. Let's just see how it is. And that's how it started. And I got onto the course. It was on my day off. So I could, you know, I had the time to do it. And it has literally, it's just gone bam. I love it. Because, yeah. It's fab. So I've done one diploma and I loved it so much. I've started another one, but it mirrors, actually. There was elements of the diploma where, you know, it's a lot of the background of some psychology models, etc. And that's exactly what I love. And as we're learning stuff, I'm thinking, gosh, yes, I can put a name to what I've said in my F list now, which I've been doing for 10 years. But it's all coming, you know, it's all coming together. And that's where I am, basically.
Yeah, I see Alexandra put a bit of fizz will fix your frazzle.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I say. And that's exactly what I say, actually. So yeah,
well, you love out here, boy. Put your LinkedIn in there. That's what I'm talking about. Support.
Pardon, say that again.
She got your LinkedIn profile link up. People can reach out to you.
Ah, I see. Well, that's brilliant. Thanks.
You put that at the bottom of the screen. You show that.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's taking, and I guess my passion has always been to empower somebody else to really understand their health needs. That's the point. And their health needs on all aspects, and how to maintain that balance. So I guess working on the ground for the last 24 years as a doctor, but actively as a partner, 16 years. And even before this came to my conscious awareness and actively using these skills, I always have been. I've always been very holistically minded. I've always been intrigued by certain concepts of, you know, the big picture, and, you know, just different elements, really. And I recognize it was it was always there. It was just more subconscious, and my own burnout was almost like the catalyst. It triggered an opening here.
Like a reset for you.
Exactly, and it literally just all came. I know exactly how I'm going to do this. I'm going to show patients, because they're never going to be able to access the healthcare service that I've had, psychology wise anyway, because the waiting lists are ridiculous, like 3 years, 2 years, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would access basic level of CBT course, which is brilliant, but there's still a wait. You get 6 sessions and then you're signed off, and then what? But then in between, so you see your GP, you or your family physician, you're not feeling great. You might not even recognize, oh, that physical symptom I'm having, which is stomachache or heartburn. You will know what your body's telling you, because that's why you've come in. And just a few more questions, ruling out anything worrying, sinister, arrange the right tests. That's the science bit. That's the medical bit. What else is going on? Oh, right, yeah, I've been really stressed. Work's been awful. I'm not really sleeping. How's your eating habits? Stuff like that. How are you eating regularly? Now that you've come to say it, Dr. Arora, no, I just grab something, this when I can. Okay, and how much are you drinking alcohol? Are you drinking coffee? Yeah, I drink shed loads of coffee to keep myself awake, and yeah, I must admit I do have a few pints and blah, blah. And before you know it, actually, this heartburn, this reflux is actually a response to an underlying process of your body's under stress, psychologically, emotionally, and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And you might recognize those feelings of, I can't do this anymore, but then you kind of push it away and you just, okay, fine. But your body talks to you, and your body there's always a connection there.
Not balancing out.
Exactly. And it's learning how to tune in and decipher it yourself almost. And then going to the basics of, okay, this is what my health needs. So it's F to 10, 1 to 10. Boom. Am I doing it? No. If not, right, that's what I need to do. So I've almost, how I do it, it's like a holistic prescription, that it sounds really easy, and it's so not, because when you are struggling or when you are not feeling great, this is really difficult to do. But knowing it's on the list, knowing this is Dr. Arora's F list, and this will help you to find your fizz, and this is how you become BU with bells on. It takes time. You've got to change patterns sometimes, but it's okay. We're going to do it together. This is how we do it. And you're tapping into your own intuition here as well. Mm-hmm. And that's how awesome. That's what I do.
Now you're working on a book. What's the book?
Exactly this, BU with bells on and how. So it's so it's basically my burnout journey story, recovery, where the F list actually came from, and showcasing really some anonymized already. I've already got so many cases, and patients have been amazing. They're like, yeah, sure, of course, it's anonymized, no problem. And I've even had one guy, this is again where the glitter bit comes in, because his backstory is to answer your question. So it's to showcase the transformations from the F list, or from more than the F list. Actually, it's this way of practice. That's what it is, and that's taken me actually a while, a good few years, because like I say, I've been doing this always. This is how I practice, and my patients would often say to me, I'd write out my F list when I'm doing the consults, slip it on a piece of paper, sign it, put a little C, because I have copyrighted it.
There you go.
Yeah, I have already. That was ages ago even. And, they've kept it and they put it on their fridges with a magnet. And I'm like, oh, I could have like a fridge magnet with the book as a buy two, get one free kind of thing. The fridge magnet of the F list is a real thing, and there you go, you can stick it on to remind yourselves. and they would say, you know, you should write about this, or you should talk about it. We'd come and support you. We, you know, we could see you doing like a TED talk or something. And I'm like, yeah, right. Me? Nah,
Hey,
don't think so.
why not you?
I
Don't say that.
know.
Why not you?
I'm standing
Why
in
not
that
you?
now. I'm standing in that now, and
I see you on
absolutely.
TED Talk.
I don't even
Merchandise.
know. I'd love to. That's my. Do you know what? That
It's
is my dream.
merchandise.
That is my dream. That is absolutely one of my absolute dreams to do that. Yeah, it really, really is. Just really spreading this, and that's my mission in life now. Well, it always has been, really. So I've done it. I've spread it with my patients, but I want to also keep spreading that. So I thought, and the idea for the book came from the pandemic, actually, because I know, as I mentioned, you know, the lead areas that I work with, I was absolutely, oh my God, this is heartbreaking. You know, lockdown is going to mean so many, it's going to cause so much more safeguarding stuff. It's going to cause, you know, for the women out there in controlling relationships, coercive control, all of this. This is their living friggin' hell. And it was, I just was, oh God, there's really, what can we do? So I mean, I was still seeing patients through the pandemic and with PPE on, obviously, but you know, I've never been busier on the phone doing my F lists and stuff. And you know what? I was like, okay, if I can't do this face to face, because I love patient contact, if I can't do it face to face, right, sack that. I'm going to write about it. There's no point crying anymore. I can't fix everything else is out of my control. This isn't. I can still get my message out, and I'm going to write my book now because I've been thinking about this for years. I've been thinking about this. People have been telling me about, you got to do this. You should do this. And I actually kind of struggled with, there's so many other things out there. I'm not saying anything really that's different to what we already know. But, you know, it's said in a different way. It's said with my story behind it. It's said with me as a you know, a conventional trained doctor who's using these modalities of all mind, body, and spirit, and I'm living proof of what it can do, because, and so are my patients. So if I can't do it face to face, I will write about it, and that's where the book idea came from.
How close are you to finishing your book?
How close am I to finishing? Nearly done the first draft.
Okay, first draft. I mean, shout out to Dr. Spice, man. She been posting a lot of love, so I wrote it down. You got like a little homework here. Finish your book. The Glitter Practitioner. You need to put that in your LinkedIn name.
Okay.
As a moniker. The F list, fridge magnets. Got to work on that.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
Yeah.
Holistic RS.
Ah.
An F list vision board course.
Yeah, that the F list is my course. So that's
Okay.
the BU with bells on, the coaching program, but it's the F list course actually. So that's the course bit. Yeah, that's there. And what I've not told you is I'm not only, so the book is a way to reach anybody, everybody, really, just as many people as possible. The coaching program and the actual course is more of a deep dive and an in-depth one-to-one coaching. Specifically, I really want to share this. I've done it with patients and patient care, and I've always tutored medical students, and I love working with, you know, the junior doctors and stuff. And I've recently been coaching physicians. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I was sort of thinking, right, so I've done my diploma. Because you always ask, what's your niche? You've got to think about your niche. And that was hard for me, because from going from a doctor to then honing it down to one area, I was almost like, oh, but I don't want to just hone it down to one area. I'm used to helping, you know, everybody who comes into my room, I'll just do it. But I get why it's to attract the right person and actually to hone it down. So struggling with it for a bit, and then it suddenly came to me, hold on a minute, I'm a doctor. I know what burnout feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my recovery felt like. I also know how I've practiced having burnt out and recovered during the pandemic as well, right up till now. Actually, this holistic, whatever we want to call it, it's just the way I practice medicine, but using the F list and stuff. So, this. If there are so many physicians, it's all over the place. Physician suicide as well, and this is just the healthcare profession. It's unfortunately doctors, healthcare professionals are the worst at looking after their own health needs, and this is nothing new either. Very, very good about giving the care, the compassion, etc. to everybody else but yourself. And I also know what that felt like and feels like, but there is a way. And you can take ownership of your own needs. And it is more than plenty good enough. You've done what you can. And it's allowing yourself to balance up. Well, hold on, okay. What are your limits? Know your limits. If you just keep blindly go, it's not going to work. And you're going to feel miserable and you're going to lose your passion for what you do. Maybe you already have, I don't know. And everybody's reasons to do medicine or to do healthcare are different. Mine are very genuinely from my heart. I love what I do because I love connecting with people. I love being able to share what works and share my science knowledge, etc. And maybe that's not what it is for other people, but that's fine. There are other people who are like this, but they're struggling because they're not looking after themselves. So the program, essentially, the coaching is more towards physicians. Not necessarily, it's just catching people before they even start, when they're just on that slippery slope. So you're feeling, and the feelings that you get, which is exactly what I felt. Frazzled, proper frazzled. FFS. Swear words. FFS,
Like, what are you talking about? You lost me for a minute.
I know I did. I know, and I'm trying to mime it out without swearing online or whatever.
Okay, I got you saying.
FF. Sake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. We're now.
Got it. And that's that feeling. Oh my God, seriously? Really? Everything is just so heavy. Why are you laughing?
Now I get it.
You get it now.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Okay, I'm happy with you now. I'm with you.
Yeah. So that feeling of and just completely fed up. These are the feelings. So that's almost like my calling card. Are you feeling ding ding? Well, I can help you find your fizz. Talk to me.
Gotcha.
I can share my F list with you, and and you use this and share it on, please. You can do this with your patients. Why not? So yes, that's my mission and goal.
We got an update to your list.
What's that?
F list T-shirt.
I've got one.
Okay. And F list bracelet that jingles like a bell.
Who is saying all of this? Is this you?
Dr. Spice. Alexandra.
I love you, Dr. Spice.
I know.
She is, because she works in a very similar way, and I only just recently found her through another connection, Bruce, and she's amazing, man. She's doing what it's just so aligned, and in fact, we've been thinking and playing with stuff. Yeah.
Go 23, I expect to see it out here. You're on the clock. T-shirt, bracelet that jingle like a bell.
Yeah.
You're on the clock.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking. That's what I was going to say. Hers is find your spice or spice up your life. Very similar ethos principles as what my F list is. And so we were sort of thinking, oh, we could combine certain things. We could be fizzy spice or spicy fizz or something. She's in the
I could do a
States. I'm in.
podcast together.
Hey,
Sam.
say that again.
I could do a podcast together.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
God idea right there.
Yes, let's do it.
I know she down for it.
That's a brilliant idea. Yes, let's do that.
You can call it the holistic spice approach.
Got to have some glitter in that, though. Got to have some fizz in there.
Oh yeah.
We'll come up something. We'll come up with something. But no, patients of mine. So when they're in their creative side, finding their fun, finding the things that make their heart sing, patients will come back, and I'm saying, this is part of the prescription, and I always get, there's not enough time. I can't do that. There's no much time. There's no time to do this, and I'm like, there is time. It's your perception. And it's shifting a perspective that actually by giving yourself the time to do something where you are just in flow, doing the stuff that you love doing, you will feel better. And then the more you do it, you've almost created that win-win cycle of, oh my God, I forgot how much I love doing this. I've got to do it again. And it becomes then routine. It becomes more of a habit, and then there you go, you've done it. And without that, you're not going to feel 100% be with bells on kind of thing, because that's part of your essence, and it's keeping that energy and that fizz going. And it's also important to understand that to be full of fizz and your whole unique essence, where you're glowing and radiating your own light, it's great. You can give it out freely. Absolutely. Keep giving. But if you're not replenishing yourself, you're going to get depleted. And this is what the F list is all about. It's about, okay, so this is how I do it. And this is also how I maintain it. This is how I fill my heart up again. And fun is so much a part of that, but it's not fun as in, let's go out, get smashed kind of thing. No, it is. I sound very teachery then, didn't I? But I didn't mean it like that. No, you are not allowed to go out and get smashed. Well, you can if you want, for God's sake, but that's not part of my fun, is what I'm saying. It's the quiet time fun. It's the tuning into your creativity, and that is how I found my passion for singing, actually. And that's...
I'm a musician myself.
Yes, I was reading that. I couldn't wait to find out about this. Yes, yep. I sing, I perform. Yes, I love it. I started singing lessons, and nice. And live shows with a real live band is what I was about to say. And my teacher, who's actually one of my really close friends now, I remember going upstairs and going, and it gave her my story a little bit. I'd recovered from burnout, and I was back at work, and I was telling her all of this, and I was like, I've always loved to sing, and I'm always singing to the children and stuff. And my husband recently was saying in the car, I've got a really nice voice, and I was like, oh, right, okay. Yeah. And then I kept seeing her sign of the singing academy, and I just thought, I thought I'd just come in and say hi. And if nothing else, I use my voice all the time in clinic. I talk, I do presentations, or I'm teaching students or whatever. I use my voice all the time. And if nothing comes of this, I want to use my voice in the best way I can in my job, in my role. So she's listening, and I'm like, and also, I was then saying, it's always been my dream, it's kind of like a thing of, it's not, I didn't ever want to go on X Factor, by the way, ever. But
no, I'm going to get you on my third album I'm working on.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I'm done, almost done mixing my second album before I release.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
check out my first album, the JLE Experience.
I was actually listening to a little bit earlier. And I'd always sort of thought, yeah, and she said, she's the one who actually said, I can tell without even you singing anything, I can tell by the tone of your voice, you talking, what you're going to sound like singing. And she could see the potential more likely, just like intuitively I was tapping into people's needs or health needs and know what the underlying thing is. She was exactly the same when it comes to singing. So within I think it was 3 months, I basically did my first live show in front of about
Awesome.
150 odd people.
Wow. I ain't did a live show yet.
And I
Awesome.
friggin' loved it. Oh,
Wow.
I mean, I felt sick beforehand. I was well nervous, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Oh. But as soon as I got on
I
stage,
might be nervous when I do a live show.
Once the music started to go, and I'm jiving it, and I'm grooving it. Oh yeah! And then I was just there in that moment in time, and I loved it. So my first song I sang was "Ain't No Sunshine."
That's classic.
Yeah. And then the second one was I love Karen Carpenter, was Superstar. And then what else have I done? I've done Fame, I've done Sound of Silence, I've done I've done shed loads. I've done so many. And I love it. Ain't Nobody. Britney Spears as well is a bit of a fun thing because I love to dance on stage a bit as well. So I can't help it.
I got you. That sounds awesome. I know whenever I really get nervous, I think about Kobe, Mamba mentality. Like, you got to just knock it out. Just run through it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
It's amazing.
So,
I love singing.
Yeah, I'm going to get you on the third album. So.
Oh, wow.
I'm not joking. I'm serious.
I know you're not. I'm thinking, shit, hell, man, you've not even heard me sing yet.
I do just have you. My man in the studio, we know how to get your voice on, how you put it through, add into the hookup. Definitely, I can see some background. I do want to have a female background with the chorus.
Okay, I can do that. I'm really good at background vocals and backing vocals. I kind of just sort of hijack my children's. I'm like, Ollie, my kids sing as well. And my son's actually got the most amazing voice, and so does my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, you need backing, don't you? I'll do your backing. I am doing your backing vocals, whether you need them or not.
Okay. I got you. Last question. Yes. What advice? Well, my bad. One more question. In your 24 years of being a doctor in the UK, what has been the impact?
On who? Me or other people?
Your impact of what you've seen of helping people.
Oh, gosh. People's lives truly changing. Truly. And when I mean, so I'll give you some examples. It's the best way I can showcase this, actually. For some people, it is the going from the absolute, to the point of suicide and recurrently, and coming from a background where there's no support, there's nothing else, and seeing somebody go from that to believing in themselves again, that there is a reason to live, that this is working, to actually finding something to give them hope and actually moving that on. That to me is, I can hand on heart say, this is the majority of the work I do is, it is really big stuff. Even if this was only impacting one person, that's good enough for me. I know this has impacted so many more than just one. And that is why I will go there or delve and help somebody else to understand this. And obviously, this is not a solo effort here at all. It's you coupled with your support network, your resources around you. And that can involve school stuff. It can involve housing. It can involve mental health services. It's the whole big picture. But that's the thing, as the GP, the general practitioner, the physician, family physician, you're almost the gateway to a lot of these things. And so if you never knew about really what was going on, how the hell can you put the right support in place? You can't.
That's true.
So the impact, that's just one small thing. It's not small at all. It's huge. But it's one small example. There's so many more, women who have been in abusive relationships and they've not even known it. They've thought that was the norm.
Oh, wow.
And absolutely. And, I remember a conversation and it was very much, I was checking in and, just having some physical aches and pains or something. I can't, that was the presenting problem. And then I said, how are things at home? It's been difficult with lockdown and stuff. And she's like, yeah, you know how it is. It's okay. It's quite stressful. Having a lot of arguments with my partner or whatever. You know how it is what she said.
Yeah.
And I just...
Keep your hands to yourself.
And it was more emotional stuff, to be fair, really controlling. And I said, no, I don't know how it is. Tell me. And she looked at me and she stopped, she paused. And then, a little bit more came out. And I was like, okay. And then a little bit more came out. A little bit more came out. No wonder she's got all these aches and pains and this, that, the other. Her body is literally telling her it's just not, emotionally is not right. This isn't right. Your body's not right. Of course it's going to start talking to you. Mm-hmm. So she, over time, the biggest thing I think for a lot of women is, oh my God, my kids are going to get taken away and this, that, the other. Mm-hmm. And the minute I say, don't worry, I'm the safeguarding lead as well. So don't worry, I know how it works. We want you to be safe. And think of it as a sort of like a blanket of support around you. Mm-hmm. And that it doesn't need to be this way. And you are worth so much more. And actually, it's just that validation. Mm-hmm. And knowing that somebody else has got, and then I would then refer on to the right team who would literally straight in, and watching that family or that mother go from that to finding her power, finding herself, and leaving that, and actually doing what she can for herself and her kids, because that's the impact it's going to have on the children. Mm-hmm. I mean, that to me is, again, that's one example, and that this is what I'm seeing all the time. And people who might never have even had a job because they're always either high as a kite, addictions, never really made it through college and stuff. These are the invisible people who just never get the chance because nobody else has been their advocate. Nobody else has given them that. Mm-hmm. Two-way process, of course. It's down to ownership and choice. However, you're kind of against a bit of a tide here if, you can't get a job because you haven't got the right qualifications. You haven't got qualifications because you weren't able to finish your schooling because you yourself were being battered at home or whatever the reason, and you couldn't access your education, and then you fell into the wrong crowd, and then this, that, the other. Then what? So when you come in for your health, it's reflective of everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember conversations or picking things up with patients, and this guy literally, he was the one who said about the glitter dust, actually, and it made me cry because this guy had come from a really, really crap background, really awful. Mm-hmm. Abuse he'd experienced and he had witnessed. So he's, in this sort of pot that was just toxic. Leaves home, really runs away in the care system for a bit. Couldn't get to school, didn't get to school, got into the wrong crowd, drugs and petty crime and stuff. And in a vicious cycle, essentially, and had been to different doctors because his mind wasn't right. He was extremely anxious. We inherited him as a new patient, and as often is the case, it was, it was on my on-call clinic, so I didn't know this guy was coming in. And he's effing and he's jeffing and he's getting really aggro and stuff. Not at me, just at the weight and the situation. Yeah. And just the way he's feeling. having to start again with a new doctor who doesn't know, and his experience of doctors in the past had been very much in, out, or yeah, this is what's wrong, take this. So he's like, oh, fucking hell, no, really, really, not okay. And I said, hey, listen, it's all right, you're here. And I said, tell me what's wrong. What can I do to help you? And we're talking, and 5 minutes in, from what he'd said, I pieced it together essentially, and he sort of shared a little bit. I'm asking, this is the background, and he's not on medication. He keeps not taking it because he never goes back for the reviews. He doesn't go back for the reviews because he doesn't trust the healthcare system anymore. Because people are, as what he said in his own words were, I basically go in, I get given a script, and I just get told to go, and I'll speak to somebody in another 2 or 3 weeks, or one of the counsellors might call me back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was like, why the fuck should I take this? I don't even know if it's going to make me feel worse, better. So he never did. And, went through everything with him, referred him, obviously. He needed more support. But the waiting lists are ridiculous. So I'm doing my Fs with him as well. Is he getting a little bit better? Checking in on him literally weekly initially by phone, because that's when the pandemic hit. I saw him once, and then the rest were phone reviews. Mm-hmm. And he knew if he was crying. I explained, we had a plan. A year later, I do as one of his last reviews, and have this review over the telephone, and I was like, you've been a year, you're doing great. He was, so having not being able to hold down a job, he was holding down a job. I mean, these are the wins. These are the things that people's lives will change, and then actually you're breaking a cycle for the next generation. He knows now. So we're talking, and he was like, yeah, no, I'm feeling great. Thanks so much, Dr. Arora. It's down to you, is what he said. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. And I said, well, actually, thank you, but it's actually you. You've done this. I've sort of tapped, guided along the way, but it's you. You've done this. And he was like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but, it's not actually. I've seen so many different doctors, and they've not explained what you have and the way you have. People talk to me and they see what I'm like, and they just, no time for me. And I'm sort of saying, well, actually, if you look back, they've done exactly what I've done in terms of meds and in terms of therapy, even though I never even started with us. And he was like, no, I know what you're saying, Doc, but you know what? It's like you fucking, and he's like, really, he's like gang culture. He's really, just like that, and constantly swearing. And he's like, no, you know what? You sprinkle glitter dust with your words. I don't know, it's some kind of magic, but you do it. And everybody needs a bit of glitter dust in their lives, is what he said. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. I did not, these are words coming out from a bloke, number one, and from somebody who's, I'm talking to him, and I know what he's like. And I was like, it just totally blew me away. And I was like, can I use that in my book? Can I use that as a quote? And he was like, oh my God, you're writing a book? That's brilliant. Yeah. Go for it, man. Go for it. So and that's where the glitter bit came through as well.
Okay. You kind of doing like slow-mo on your end.
Am I?
Yeah. It's weird. I'll check and make sure it ain't my signal. Yeah, it's still doing slow-mo on your end, but I can hear you.
All right, no. You're fine. I'm looking. Looks okay to me.
Okay. Hopefully it works out. Last question. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Go with your heart. Go with your passions.
Okay.
Go with your passions. I guess it's being aware of here, really, truly. What is it that lights you up? What is it that fills you with fizz? That sort of zing zing. And when you are aligned with that, So you might not even realize that you're not. So you've got sort of a breakdown of almost, say, if it's with work or the bigger picture and the life purpose, look at your life as it is right now in aspects of home, family, work, career, everything. And how in tune are you, or is these aspects, how in tune are they with you, your values, your beliefs?
Yeah.
And you'll either see a pattern developing where actually, no, that's not even aligned with me anymore. Oh my God, what am I doing this for? And it does take inner work. It takes time. It takes, as my therapist always said, God rest his soul, he's not with us anymore, know thyself. And in doing so, you will know what your passions and purpose is. It comes from in here. And then when you actively look at these different angles and different aspects of your life, what's bringing you fulfillment? What actually do you enjoy? If you're looking at your job plan and your job description, you're thinking, I friggin' hate what I do. I don't like going into work. Well, that is a problem, because you're doing something from, best part of your day, really, that you're not happy and you're not fulfilling yourself. These are things that are going to drag you down. And I remember learning something which I think is brilliant. I could be pronouncing this wrong, so forgive me if I am. It's the ikigai something.
Okay.
Basically, it is all about your passion and your purpose, in the sense of knowing what you're doing right now. Do the things that you love doing, that you are good at and that you're good at, what the world needs. And the fourth one for that one is and how you can be remunerated financially. And if you've got all four and there's an intersection in the middle, you're winning at life, basically. That's it. You're on it. And it's a very simplistic, there's more to it than that. That's what I've really remembered, key points, really. And I think that's a really good way of looking at, well, am I loving what I do at the minute at work, home, this, that, the other? And you can slowly then start tweaking it and changing it and finding and rediscovering what is your passion. It could be your dream job, and even visualization. What is your dream? What would your dream be? And dream big, dare to dream, and work backwards. So who says there's nothing can stop you?
Right.
Nothing. The only person who can stop self is yourself, by what stories are going on in your head, what beliefs are leading you to believe this, how in tune you are with yourself. Again, it comes back to mind, body, and spirit, holistically, all together, not just out of a, hi, I'm a doctor, I'm going to look after your physical needs. It's the whole big picture of your inner self and your inner happiness and well-being. Because actually, when you do this, that's exactly what you start regaining back again. And from that, you will know what your purpose is. You just will. And if it's still unclear, go again. Or, talk to, a coach, a mentor. All of these things, you'll find it. Absolutely.
That's awesome advice. So how did you enjoy your experience?
Oh my God, I've loved it. Thank you so much.
I know you've been awesome.
Oh.
In the messenger, I'm gonna send you your to-do list. You won't forget it.
I've actually already got a couple of things. I don't know if I can reach out and show you.
All right, go ahead. Put it out here so people. Okay, see?
One of my patients, bless her, she cross-stitched that. I know it's got... Well, no, I thought, we could do something like this on cushions.
Okay.
Definitely fridge magnets. And a very good friend, Margaret, who she's she loves her crystals, and she's setting up her... she used to run a tutu company, makes tutus and T-shirts and stuff.
Okay.
And she's actually making a T-shirt made up for me with the glitter practitioner on it.
And the F list t-shirt.
Oh, okay. I'll do the F list as well. Yeah, don't be in a fluster. Be an F lister.
There you go. Sounds awesome. I'm with it. I'll support you on every platform I got. Like, go check her out. Well, I definitely want to thank the Glitter Practitioner, 24-year doctor and family practitioner, Dr. Nubi Arora, for sharing her journey and advice for someone finding their purpose. You've been awesome. Check out all of her stuff she's going to have coming out soon. T-shirt, bracelet, books, magnets, everything.
I love
People
it.
out there. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I've absolutely
I
loved
appreciate
it.
you for doing it. And shout out to Alexandria, Dr. Spice, for hooking us up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alexandria, honestly, for for sharing and for connecting us and just, everything. Thank you. And to Bruce and to Veronica, because it was through them actually that I even met Alexandria. So it's like a chain. Absolutely. Good people. Yeah. And that's just amazing.
Until next time, hope everybody have an amazing weekend.
Oh.
And we're out.
Okay.